All right. So if you look at 1 through 6, it gives you a triangle. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. So it gives us a triangle. What you got, sis? Ooh, I like that. It's a good drawing. Put it up on the table. We have a triangle that is something like this. We're going to pretend like that's a 90-degree, even though it's not drawn like that. Then we have C, 20, A, come on, A, 12, and B, and 16. Okay, right?
Okay.
So it says number 1, the sine of A. So number 1 is the sine A. Okay, so that would equal. Let's go back up here and look. Sine is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm using sine of A, so I'm going to use this angle right here. Opposite would be 16, and hypotenuse would be 20, because hypotenuse is always the biggest. So it would be 16 over 20. So all I got to do is come back here and put 16 over 20. That's it.
Hmm.
That's all you had to do. Right? So
Yeah.
if I look at that, what's the next one? Oops.
Tan C.
So 2 is the tan C equals what? Well, look at tangent over here. Opposite. Let's first identify our angle. So it's going to be this angle right here. Right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
opposite and adjacent. So opposite would be if I swam across, it'd be 12 over adjacent is 16, right? Because 20 is the biggest one, so that's always hypotenuse. So I could literally just say 16, I'm sorry, 12 over 16. That's it.
Huh.
What's the next one?
Cos A.
So the cosine of A. So let me erase all my marks. Cosine of A. Well, what one are we using? Angle A.
Uh-huh.
Cosine is op or adjacent over hypotenuse.
Should be 20 or
Well, hold on. Hypotenuse is underneath.
uh,
What's the adjacent? Remember, adjacent is part. I remember this. Adjacent starts with an A. Angle starts with an A. So if 20 is always going to be the hypotenuse, what's this one's part of the angle, right?
yeah.
So it'd be 12 over what?
16.
Nope, hypotenuse.
It's 12 over 20.
There you go. Ah, erased everything. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, why does it keep doing that? Okay, what's number 4?
Um, Tan A.
What the heck? So the tangent of A. Okay, so you're going to do this one. If I'm using this angle, and the tangent is opposite over adjacent. What am I going to put? What's the opposite of A?
16.
Good. Adjacent is part of the angle.
Is that 20?
Nope. Remember, 20 is always hypotenuse because it's the biggest. So for all these angles, 20 is always hypotenuse because it's the biggest. That's how I remember 20. Hypotenuse is always the biggest side of the triangle. So what's that leave us with?
12.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5. What we got?
Cos C.
Cosine of C. What does that equal? So if I look at this C, right here C, cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So what's the adjacent of C?
Should be 20.
No. The biggest one's always hypotenuse.
Oh my gosh.
Just remember, hypotenuse, hippo, big. So if we're using cosine, adjacent would be
16.
over what? Hypotenuse.
20.
Yeah. Okay. Number 6.
Sin
So the
C.
sine of C equals. So once again, I'm gonna identify my angle. C. Sine is opposite and hypotenuse over hypotenuse. So let's do this. This is hypotenuse because it's always the biggest, right?
Yeah.
C, if I swim across, this is my opposite. So that leaves me with this as my adjacent. So what would C, how would I do C, cosine C? Opposite is?
12
Good.
over 20.
Perfect. See, that's what I would probably do, Garrett. Every time you do one of these problems is label your hypotenuse and your adjacent just for that problem because they'll change depending on the problem, right? What the heck? What the? Okay. Is that it or is there more?
There's 3 more. 16 through 18.
Okay. It says find the sine of J, cosine J, tangent J, sine L, cosine L, and tangent L. Express each ratio as a fraction and as a decimal to the nearest tenth. All right. So I'm going to leave this up here. Oh my gosh. There we go. Maybe I'll put this down here. Okay, so the first one, so which one? 16, 17, and 18?
Yeah.
Holy moly. All right. Let's draw the triangle here for the first one. So, bud. Ooh, I love it, Rye. Good job. Ooh. Yeah. All right. So we got K here. 16 there. J there. 30 there. 34 there. And L here. All right. So let me ask you this, dude. Which one of these is my hypotenuse? Which is the biggest?
34.
There you go. So all of these, this one will always be hypotenuse, always, for this problem 16. Okay, so as we look at this, okay, it says the first thing we need to do is the sine of j equals what? So if I look at this, sine of j, so I'm going to come out of this angle right here. Sine is opposite and over hypotenuse. So the opposite of j would be what?
30.
Yeah. Hypotenuse is here, so this makes this adjacent. Right? So what could I put that as? Opposite is
30.
over.
34.
Yep. So all I got to do then is just take 30 divided by 34. Why is my calculator not coming up? What is that?
0.882.
So 0.882. That's all I do
Yeah.
right there. That's the sine of j. So the next one says cosine. Oh boy. Cosine of j equals what? Now all this stuff is going to change except one of these. Look at my drawing. Hypotenuse isn't going to change, but opposite will. We're still, oh my gosh. Oh, we're still using j. So the cosine is what now? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So if I'm doing j,
Should be 16 over 34.
this is still opposite, and this is still adjacent. Right? So what'd you say?
16 over 34.
For cosine, yes. And then divide that.
Zero point 0.47.
Okay. That's it. Okay. Do tangent of j. And I'll check you when I get back. Opposite over adjacent.
So 30 over 16.
All right, so what'd you get?
30 over 16.
30 over 6. Oh boy. 30 over 16. So tangent, opposite over adjacent. Okay. Opposite is 30
Yeah.
and adjacent 16. Okay. What'd you get?
1.875.
Okay.
The next one's 30 over 34.
So what one was that? What was the problem?
Sin L.
Okay. So, well, did you change all these? So here's what happens with these. Okay. What the heck? Oh my God. Huh. Whatever. All right. So we'll just put this back up here. J. All right. So what is it? First one would be the sine of L, right?
Yeah.
So if I look at this, let's see if you're right. L is the angle I'm working with. So that means 16 is my opposite. Stays hypotenuse. And this is my adjacent.
So it's
Okay.
16 over 34.
Is that what you said?
No, I said 30 over 34.
16 over 34.
34.
Which equals?
0.47.
Okay. What's the next one? Cosine of L. What's that one going to equal?
Um, 30 over 34.
That is
Huh? 0.882.
tangent. What about the next one? Tangent of L is opposite over adjacent.
So that'd be 16 over 30.
And that equals
0.53.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay. 17 and 18. That's all you got to do.
Uh,
Okay. I'm going to let you do those on your own. All you got to do is label your opposite and adjacent for J, and then erase them, opposite and adjacent and hypotenuse for L, and do the fractions and divide them.
all right.
Okay. If you want to, stay on here in case you got a question. Or you can log off and finish them yourself.
All right, I'll just log off and do 'em.
It's the same thing. Just the most important thing is when you start with, like on 17, your hypotenuse will always stay the same. And then depending on if you're doing L or J, you have to adjust your adjacent and hypotenuse on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did you write down this part right here?
Yeah.
That's your key right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you got questions, just text me or call me or something. Okay.
All right.
All right. Later, man.
Yep. See
Bye.
ya.